this, you're never going to overcome your social anxiety. If you don't train your mind to push yourself to come outside of your comfort zone regularly, on a consistent basis to build that momentum, you're definitely not going to overcome your social anxiety. I know this from first-hand experience, from suffering with social anxiety myself and overcoming it, and then coaching hundreds of clients over the years and seeing different types of clients. I've said this in videos before, clients who have just got the perfect attitude for success and getting over social anxiety because they're committed and they're constantly willing to come outside of their comfort zone, versus clients who are committed to a certain point, and as soon as it gets difficult, they find a way out, find a way of quitting. They might make excuses, they might blame me, they might blame themselves, they'll blame somebody else, but they won't take responsibility. And it's nobody else's fault other than their responsibility. So coming outside of your comfort zone can be easy or it can be hard. It depends on how you think about it. It depends on how much action you take, i.e. socializing you do, because it's like anything in life. If you keep saying something's hard and you keep believing it, it's just going to be hard. It's going to get even harder. But if you change your relationship with what you understand as being hard, and you see, there's two ways of saying it. When most people say, oh, that's really hard, it's really hard to get over my social anxiety, that kind of comes from a place of frustration, and it's like a negative. So what they're saying is, it's hard, it's negative, and I don't want to do it or I can't do it. Versus someone who says, overcoming social anxiety is very challenging, but at the same time, I love the challenge and I'm fully committed to taking on that challenge because I know that rewards are going to outweigh the difficulty. See, it's a difference. And it's these subtle little differences in your psychology which either make you successful or make you unsuccessful. And when I work with people, in my own natural way, kind of like this, but obviously it's more personal, I will always help them. I'll help them through my mentoring, through the way that I teach and explain, so they can get it into their own head in a positive way, and they can change the usual association with difficulty and something being hard. And I really get them to understand the benefits, and then when they understand the benefits and the rewards, it's a lot easier then for them to motivate themselves to go out and socialize and speak to people. But at the same time, yeah, it's hard at the start. It's very difficult for someone, a guy who has spent many years isolating himself away from people. Like I said, if you know my story, that's what I did for many years until that became so negative and depressing that I turned it all into a positive. I got inspired. I listened to a lot of videos, like my videos from Les Brown, and he motivated me, and I started to change my attitude towards life, challenges, problems, and most importantly, social anxiety. And that's when I started gaining confidence and pushing myself. And the more you push yourself, funny enough, the more you face a difficult situation or a hard situation, the easier it becomes. But the more you push it away and you block it out and you make excuses and you feel sorry for yourself, and self-pity, blaming other people, the harder it gets. You're not going to get anywhere. So it really is about changing negatives into positives. And obviously, when you start improving your confidence and you start to feel less anxious, then it's just a straight run from there. It just gets easier. But everybody's got to go through that process to become successful, and it's no different to getting over social anxiety as it would be building a successful business. Yeah, the situation might be different, it might be a different topic, but the work that's required, that process is exactly the same. And that process is always going to revolve around getting uncomfortable, and then over a period of time getting comfortable being uncomfortable, or being more acceptant to uncomfortable emotions, feelings and situations, because that's where you're growing as a person. That's where you're gaining more confidence. So there is a lot of rinse and repeat in that. You've got to keep repeating this process. So example, you come to one of my Fearless Social events. It's quite challenging initially. You feel better afterwards because you speak to some people, you go away and you've progressed a bit further. You've come outside of that safety box, i.e. comfort zone. Then when the next week or month comes, you've got to push yourself again to come to another Fearless Social event or to go to another social meetup. So it's that continuation. But like I said, a lot of people successfully do this, which is great, but a lot of people sabotage themselves because of excuses. So if you've got that attitude right now, that things should come easy and you don't want to go through challenges, difficulty, suffering, discomfort, stress, failure, rejection, even criticism, being judged and things like that, you're not going to get anywhere in life. I've never met anyone in my life who became successful by not coming outside of their comfort zone consistently and working hard and learning and turning negatives into positives. I've never met one human being, and I've met hundreds of people, and I've got a lot of experience with successfully doing this process of coming outside of your comfort zone and building a new habit. So the quickest way to get motivation is to set the right goal. Motivation comes from having a specific goal, or there's a certain destination that you want to reach, but it's all goal setting. So in order to set a goal, you're going to have to sit down, you're going to have to face your fears, something I did at my Fearless event. I appreciated the honesty from the guys. They said they were scared about setting long-term goals because it made them stressed. It made them more anxious about whether they can achieve it, and it was the work that was required. But if you change your mindset, you will not fear hard work. You'll be excited by it. You'll be motivated. You'll be inspired. You'll be driven to do it. And then when you do it and you experience the benefits for yourself, you're going to be happy that you've done it. It's the best feeling in the world, and that's really what creates satisfaction for guys: happiness, self-esteem. It's going through difficult experiences in life, coming out the other side and getting through them and learning something from them, which is precious. And you can't learn these things by reading books alone. You can't even learn them from just watching videos. You have to go out and get real world experience for yourself, and then you will get the best understanding possible, which goes obviously beyond intellectual understanding, because intellectual understanding is probably the easiest. It's the easiest amongst all understanding because it doesn't require any much effort. Just pick up a book, read some words, take the knowledge in, and intellectually you've got some more understanding of whatever it is that you're trying to understand. But to go out and do it in practice is a whole different level of strength and a different level of intelligence, which is experiential versus intellectual. So with social anxiety, intellect isn't going to do nothing really, nothing at all. It's just going to make the problem worse by over-analysing it and intellectualising it and collecting more theory. You actually need to get rid of some of the thoughts and the theories. There's too much overthinking. It's just a waste. It's unnecessary. So you do that, like I said, by setting a goal, being accountable to that goal, pushing yourself outside your comfort zone. Now, obviously, because sometimes people like to feel sorry for themselves and come up with ways and say things like, oh, am I supposed to just be uncomfortable every single day of every hour? No one's saying that. Obviously, a couple of hours a day. There's 24 hours in a day. If you used to get uncomfortable 2 hours a day or an hour a day or at least 2 hours a week, the 2-hour format is what I do on my 6 weeks confidence program. Clients meet up for a 2-hour session once a week for 6 weeks in a row. That's 12 hours in total, and that gives them a lot of time to gain confidence, momentum, and come outside of their comfort zone. And I give them homework to do in their own time. So these are all the things that you need, and when you get down to it, it's all straightforward. It's nothing that you haven't heard of before, but the main factor in all this is having the courage to apply it, to put that effort in. If you put the effort in, you're going to see the rewards. If you don't put the effort in, you're not going to see anything back. So unfortunately, feeling sorry for yourself isn't going to get you over social anxiety. Being lazy, not socializing, that's just going to add to the problem. It's going to make it worse, actually. So I like to tell people the truth so they can succeed. What's the point in negatives and things that are not going to work, which have been tried, tested and failed? Where what I'm saying, I know 100%, I'm certain it works because I've done it and I've helped so many clients over the years, hundreds, to successfully do it. And some of you watch my videos, so you know that it works. But yeah, you got to keep breaking outside. It's human nature. We all want a recluse as part of us. This is our programming, where we want to be safe, we don't want to be bothered, we want to be in control of things. But too much of that ends up causing you misery. It's kind of funny how people love going in their comfort zone. Most people do. But then after they complain about it, they resent it because it brings a lot of depression, low self-esteem, feelings of not being good enough, not satisfied in life, not excelling, not really fulfilling your potential and being stuck. But then people, when you try and encourage them and push them, they want to make excuses. They get upset or they get angry. They don't want to break out of that. So you can't have it both ways. It's one or the other. If you're going to stay in your comfort zone, you cannot complain because that's the deal. I didn't make these rules. That's life. Whoever made these rules. If you don't push yourself outside your comfort zone, you're going to be miserable. If you do push yourself outside your comfort zone, it's going to be difficult in moments and in periods, but you are going to get there in the end. Then you're going to be happy. Then you're going to be fulfilled. And then you're going to feel the way that you want to feel. And then you're not going to be resentful, miserable, depressed, antisocial. You're going to be all of the opposite. So you really got to work at this. You can't underestimate how hard you have to work to break out of social anxiety, become confident and succeed with your personal goals. I've said it before, it's not a part-time job, it's a full-time job. But those of you that are putting in a part-time effort, you're going to get a part-time results, and then you're not going to be happy because you're going to be saying, it's not enough. How comes I'm not getting where I want? Because you're not putting 110% effort in. That's why I always say, I don't work with anyone. I only work with clients that are committed, because it doesn't work for me, it don't work for them to coach people that are not coachable. Clients that are committed, I love working with them. It's no stress whatsoever. Or if it is challenging for me, I enjoy the challenge, because when you've got someone who's got a good attitude and they show up and they invest and they're fully committed and they're not going to give up, they're not going to make excuses, they're not going to blame anybody, they're going to be accountable. They're the easiest people in the world to teach and to help them to walk them through their fears and help them to build confidence and succeed. So the good thing about getting over social anxiety, you're going to learn a lot about other things. You actually learn about the process of becoming successful. When I first started out in all this, I wasn't educated in all these things. I didn't go to business school. My social skills were kind of good, but they were kind of poor at the same time. So I went out and just practiced and learned as I went along, fell on the way to success. And as I started overcoming my social anxiety, I became more confident in all areas: dating, business, relationships, speaking, social media, running events, public speaking. It just kind of snowballed into every area. And I started seeing patterns in successful people. I started studying other areas because I learnt these things through my own walk in life of all this. And then I started teaching it. So it's this process. This process that I teach has been successful year in, year out. It hasn't really changed. The process of setting goals, taking action, consistently repeating that process. And of course, it's important to have breaks. No one's saying that you haven't got to rest. And it's nice. There's nothing wrong with being in your comfort zone after you've been outside of it for so long. That's when you can really relish and enjoy, your own company, or watching a movie, or chilling out. I love doing that. I enjoy that more. But if you don't come outside of your comfort zone and you spend the majority of your life in your comfort zone, I'm going to be honest, you're going to end up getting mental health problems. It can really lead to that. It can get even worse than that. It can. So really think about this information today. And deep down it's true. You knew this already. Some of you may not know now, but most of you, you're smart people, you sense it, deep down what you need to do, where you're going wrong, where you're not, you're not putting in enough effort. So it gets easier the more you do it. Honestly, everything's worth it when you're willing to go for it. And I've said this before, I'll say it again. Any successful people, sit down, interview them, ask them their story. They will tell you, if they're honest people and they're frank in whatever area of life, they'll say that they had to come out of their comfort zone. They had to go through failures, challenges, disappointments. It got tough at times, and that's how they got there in the end, all right? So I hope you enjoyed this video. Like, share if you enjoyed the video, hit that subscribe button. I'll see you in the next video. If you've got any other questions on this, post them in the box below. I'll read them and I will make a video answering your question. And as always, If you want to get my coaching and you want to apply for my programs, I've got several programs. I won't go through all of them now, it's going to take too long. Send me an email, I'll get back to you. We can set up a Zoom call. I can find out what your goals are, then I can explain the right program and see if we can work together, all right? See you next video. Appreciate all your support, guys. It's brilliant. Fearless.